I drove 4 hours to spend Christmas with my family. My brother laughed and said, "This is only for real family." I left in silence. Minutes later, his wife accidentally sent me a message. "Why did that loser come?" I logged into my account and canceled all the payments I was covering. In the morning, 61 missed calls and a message, "Can we talk?" It was December 24th, and I drove 4 hours to spend Christmas with my family. The sky was gray, the air freezing, and my old but reliable Ford truck was loaded with gifts. I'd spent weeks picking out something for Mom, my brother David, his wife Sarah, and their kids, Emma and Noah. I wanted this Christmas to be different, the first since Dad died 2 years ago. My name is Liam. I'm 34, and I live 200 miles away from them. I'm a software engineer, a job that pays well but keeps me glued to a screen. I don't complain. It's allowed me to help my family with money for years. It all started with Dad. We talked on the phone every week, and he'd tell me things were tight at home. Mom earned little as a receptionist, and David, with his mechanic shop, always spent more than he had. So I started sending Dad money for things like the electric bill or house repairs. Then I covered the mortgage, utilities, even Mom's medicines. Dad never told anyone the money came from me. He didn't want them to feel bad, and I didn't care about the recognition. I just wanted them to be okay. When Dad died, I kept paying the mortgage through an account he'd left. No one knew, not even David. They thought Dad had left savings or the bank was working magic. I never asked. This Christmas, I wanted to see them. The last 2 years, I'd spent alone, working in my apartment. I missed the smell of food, the tree with lights, the laughter. I called Mom a few days before to let her know I was coming. She sounded cold, almost annoyed. "Why are you coming, Liam?" she said. "We're fine here. No need to bother." "I just want to spend Christmas with you," I replied, ignoring her tone. "It's been a while since we've seen each other." "Fine," she said curtly, "but don't expect much." David didn't reply to my texts as usual. He's been cold, especially since he married Sarah. I didn't think much of it and hit the road. The drive was long. I listened to an audiobook and hummed carols to stay awake, thinking about the gifts: an art set for Emma, a drone for Noah, a sweater for Mom, and for David and Sarah, a bottle of wine and a restaurant gift card. It wasn't much, but I wanted them to know I was thinking of them. I arrived at the house at 4 p.m. The street had light snow, and the 2-story house looked cozy with lights on the porch. I grabbed the gifts and walked to the door. I knocked. David opened it. He was thin, with messy hair and an old T-shirt, and looked at me like I was a stranger. "What are you doing here, Liam?" he said with a mocking laugh. "I came to spend Christmas," I replied, lifting the bags. "I brought some things." He didn't move, standing in the doorway, blocking it. "Christmas," he said, crossing his arms, "is for real family, Liam, not for those who take off and think cheap little gifts make them part of it." His words hit hard. I didn't expect a hug, but this was cruel. The gifts weren't cheap, and though he didn't know it, I was paying for the house he stood in. I tried to stay calm. "David, I just want to be with you all," I said. "I drove 4 hours." "Nobody asked you to come," he snapped. "Why don't you stay in your perfect little world? We don't need you here." I looked past him. Mom was in the hallway, watching us. I thought she'd say something, invite me in, but she just pursed her lips and turned away. Emma and Noah didn't appear. The house smelled like turkey, but the door stayed shut. "I'm not going to beg," I said, my voice tight. "If you don't want me here, I'll go." "Good idea," David said, and slammed the door in my face. I stood on the porch, bags in hand, feeling anger, humiliation, a heavy sadness. I'd driven 4 hours, paid for their house for years, and they wouldn't even let me in. I walked to my truck, tossed a gift in the back seat, and drove to a motel a few miles away. I was done. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Sarah. "Why did that loser come?" Obviously not meant for me, but it hurt like she'd said it to my face. I stared at the message, furious and ashamed. I'd paid for the house they lived in, their bills, and to Sarah, I was that loser. In that moment, I made a decision. I opened my laptop and canceled all the automatic payments: mortgage, electric, water. everything. I felt no guilt, just a cold calm. If I wasn't real family, I wasn't going to keep supporting them. I tried to sleep, but couldn't. The next morning, I turned on my phone. 61 missed calls from David, plus a message from 3 a.m. Liam, can we talk? I didn't reply. I wasn't sure I was ready to listen, but something told me this was just the beginning. I got up, washed my face, and ordered coffee at the motel reception. While drinking it, I checked my email. There was a bank notice confirming the automatic payments were canceled, and a mortgage system alert saying the next payment hadn't processed. I smiled a little. I didn't know how long it'd take them to notice, but I imagined David was already suspecting something. Those 61 calls weren't to wish me a Merry Christmas. At 10 a.m., my phone rang. It was Mom. I hesitated, but answered. Liam, she said, her voice soft, almost trembling. Where are you? David said you left last night. What happened? What happened? I repeated, a knot in my stomach. David wouldn't let me in, Mom. He said I wasn't real family, and you didn't say anything. Silence, then a sigh. I was in shock, Liam. I didn't expect you to come. David was in a bad mood, but he didn't mean to hurt you. Come home, let's talk. You're my son. Of course you're family. She sounded sincere, but something in her tone felt off, like she was reading a script. I remembered her look in the hallway, how she turned away without a word. I didn't believe her. I need time, I said. We'll talk later. Liam, please, she insisted. It's Christmas. Don't make this bigger than it is. I hung up. I didn't want to fight, but I wasn't running back like nothing happened. Half an hour later, another message from David. Liam, last night was a mistake. I was stressed. Come home. Mom's worried. Let's talk. I read it 3 times. It sounded apologetic, but I didn't buy it. David never apologized. It was always me who gave in, who let his comments slide, who paid to fix their problems. Not this time. I decided to drive back to my city. I didn't want to stay in that motel and needed to clear my head. As I loaded the truck, another message came, this time from Sarah. Liam, I'm so sorry about last night. David wasn't at his best. Please come back. The kids want to see you. That made me laugh. Emma and Noah didn't even come to the door. Sarah wasn't the type to apologize, especially not by text. This was a ploy, but I didn't understand why. Did they know about the payments, or were they just saving face? I got in the truck and drove. The ride back was quiet, no audiobooks or carols. I just thought about the past years, all the times Dad asked for help, and I said yes without hesitation. I never asked for anything in return, but I expected something. Respect, maybe, or at least not to be treated like trash. Halfway home, my phone rang again. It was David. I didn't answer, but he left a voicemail. I played it when I stopped at a gas station. Liam, it's me? Look, I messed up last night. I was in a bad mood, the shop's not doing well, and I just snapped. I didn't mean that about family. You're my brother. Come back, man. Mom's upset about this, and, something weird happened with the mortgage. The bank says it wasn't paid. Do you know anything? There it was. They knew, or at least suspected. I felt a mix of satisfaction and anger. I didn't reply, but saved a message. I wanted to see how far this would go. When I got to my apartment, it was almost 1 p.m. I collapsed on the couch, exhausted. My phone kept buzzing, more messages from David, Mom, even one from Sarah saying the kids were sad. I didn't open gifts with them. Pure theater. They knew something was wrong with the mortgage, and now they were all my best friends. At 3 p.m., I got a call from an unknown number. It was the bank, but not for me, an automated call for the mortgage account, saying the payment was late and they needed to contact the holder. They must have dialed my number by mistake, since I was just a payer, not the owner. I hung up, but it was clear the pressure was mounting. That night, David's tone changed. He sent a long message. Liam, this is ridiculous. What's wrong with you? Mom's crying. Says she's lost you. I apologized. What more do you want? And look, the bank's calling about the mortgage. If you know something, tell me. We can't lose the house. Do it for Mom if not for me. I read it and almost laughed. Now, it was my fault Mom was crying? And the house, of course. Always the house. But not a word about how they treated me. No question about why I left. They just wanted me to fix the problem. Like always. I didn't reply. Instead, I checked my finances. I'd spent thousands on the mortgage, utilities, even David's car insurance once. All without them knowing. I wonder how long it'd take them to realize I was the one keeping everything afloat. The next day, December 26th, things got ugly. Mom called again, this time not sounding sweet. Liam, this isn't a game, she said harshly. The bank says the house is at risk. What did you do? You were always the selfish one, living your life out there while we kill ourselves here. If we lose the house, it's on you. I froze. Selfish? I'd paid for everything for years. I wanted to yell, tell her the truth, but I held back. If they want to play dirty, let them. I don't know what you're talking about. I said calmly. Ask David, he's the real family. I hung up before she could respond. Minutes later, David sent a furious voicemail. What the hell, Liam? You think you're better than us? The bank's on us, and Mom's destroyed. If you did something with a mortgage, fix it. I don't know what you think you are, but you're not screwing us like this. Answer, damn it. I listened twice. No apologies, just threats. Sarah sent a message too, straight to the point. Liam, this is low. Even for you. Fix the house or you'll see. I smiled. Now, they were showing who they really were. But I wasn't backing down. I'd been their ATM for years and got treated like trash. Let them deal with the consequences. That night, I checked my phone. More missed calls. 20 from David, 15 from Mom, 5 from Sarah. Then a short message from Emma, David's daughter. Uncle Liam, why didn't you come? I miss you. That broke me a little. Emma wasn't to blame, nor was Noah. I replied, love you, little one. I'll see you soon. Nothing more. The next day, December 27th, I got a bank email. The mortgage was officially in default, and a notice had been sent to the house. I imagined the scene, David yelling, looking for someone to blame, Mom crying. I felt no pity, just relief. Then the final blow. David called at noon. I answered, just to see how far he'd go. Liam, listen, he said, voice tense. I don't know what you did, but the bank's about to take the house. Mom's sick from the stress. If you have anything to do with this, tell me. We can fix it. Your family, man, don't do this. Family, huh? I said, funny, because at the door you said something else. I was in a bad mood, I told you. He shot back. Come on, Liam, don't be like this. For Mom, for the kids. And what about me, David? I asked, what about the 4 hours I drove? The loser I am to Sarah? Silence, then a growl. If you don't fix this, I swear you'll regret it. You don't know who you're messing with. I hung up. There was nothing more to say. They didn't know I paid the mortgage, but they'd find out soon, and when they did, it wouldn't be with apologies, just more yelling, more blame. But I wasn't the same anymore. I was done carrying them. That night, I sat with a beer and looked at the gifts I never gave. I thought of Emma and Noah, how they deserve better, but also of me. For the first time in years, I put myself first, and I didn't feel bad about it. The next days were a whirlwind. My phone wouldn't stop. Calls, messages, even an email from David that sounded like a lawyer wrote it, full of words like responsibility and consequences. I ignored it all. I'd made my decision in that motel, and I wasn't going back. But it wasn't that simple. Every time I saw Emma or Mom's name on the screen, I felt a knot in my chest. I didn't want to punish them, but I couldn't keep being the savior of a family that despised me. On December 28th, I got a bank notice. The mortgage was in severe default, and foreclosure had started. I pictured David losing it, Sarah yelling on the phone, Mom staring out the window, wondering how they got here. I felt no joy, but no guilt either. They'd chosen their path. That afternoon, Mom called. I didn't answer, but she left a voicemail, her voice low, almost broken. Liam, I don't know what's happening, but the bank says we're losing the house. David's beside himself, and I can't take it anymore. If you know something, please tell me. You're my son. I know I haven't been the best mother, but don't leave us like this. That hit me, not for the house, but for her. Mom was never perfect, but she always tried to keep us together. I remembered nights when she and Dad talked in the kitchen, planning how to pay bills. Dad always said she deserved better. I wanted to believe her, but I wasn't ready to give in. On December 29th, I got a message from Emma, a photo of her and Noah with the family cat. Under it, she wrote, "Uncle Liam, when are you coming? The cat misses you." I smiled. Those kids had no idea what was going on, and they shouldn't. I saved the photo and decided that no matter what, I wouldn't leave him on the street. That night, I made a decision. I wouldn't save the house, but I'd help Mom, Emma, and Noah, not for David or Sarah, but for Dad, for his memory. He always wanted us to look after Mom, and I wouldn't fail him. But first, I needed to close this for good. On December 30th, I drove back to my family city. I didn't tell them. I wanted to see their faces, say what I needed to, and end this. When I got to the house, it was chaos. A bank sign on the lawn announced the foreclosure. The door was ajar, and I heard yelling inside. I parked, took a deep breath, and walked in. David was in the living room, red-faced, on the phone. Sarah was on the couch, furiously staring at her laptop. Mom was in a corner, eyes red. Emma and Noah played on the floor, oblivious. When David saw me, he hung up abruptly. "What are you doing here?" he shouted. "Come to laugh." "No," I said calmly. "I came to talk." Sarah stood, pointing at me. "You did this," she said. "The bank won't stop calling, and now they're taking the house. What's wrong with you, Liam?" Mom looked up, but said nothing. Emma and Noah saw me and ran to hug me. I hugged them tight, feeling their little arms. For them, I stayed calm. "David, Sarah, sit down," I said. "There are things you don't know." David crossed his arms, but sat. Sarah didn't move, but glared like she wanted to kill me. Mom came closer, sitting on the edge of the sofa. "For years, I paid the mortgage on this house," I said, looking them in the eyes. "The utilities, Mom's medicines, everything, since Dad was alive. He didn't want you to know, and neither did I. When he died, I kept paying. No one asked me to, but I did it because I thought we were family." Silence. David blinked like he didn't understand. Sarah opened her mouth, but said nothing. Mom covered her face with her hands. "You," David said, incredulous. "That's a lie. Dad left money." "The bank." I cut him off. Dad left nothing. It was me, every month, every year, until a week ago when I canceled everything. Sarah let out a nervous laugh. "And why'd you cancel it? For revenge? You're selfish." "No," I said. "I canceled it because I was tired of giving everything and being treated like trash." "You shut the door in my face, David. You called me a loser, Sarah. And you, Mom, said nothing. If that's family, I don't want it." Mom started crying. David stood, pointing at me. "Don't play the victim," he shouted. "You were always Dad's favorite, the one who left for your perfect life. We stayed here, dealing with everything." "Dealing?" I said, laughing. "You spend what you don't have, David. And Sarah, you haven't worked in years. I paid for your choices, and not even a thank you." Sarah turned red but didn't reply. Mom looked up. "Liam, I didn't know," she said, voice trembling. "If it's true, I'm sorry. But don't leave us with nothing, please." I looked at Emma and Noah, now quiet, watching us. I sighed. "I'm not saving the house." I said, "The bank's decided, and I'm not paying your debts again. But I won't leave Mom or the kids on the street." David laughed sarcastically. "What? Now you're the hero. And what about us?" "You figured out," I said, "like adults." "I've done enough." I pulled an envelope from my pocket. Inside was a $10,000 check made out to Mom. Not much, but enough for a small place for a while. "Mom, this is for you," I said, handing it to her. "For Dad. Use it to start over. But don't give it to David. If you do, there won't be more." Mom took it, crying, and just nodded. Then I pulled out 2 small envelopes, one for Emma, one for Noah, each with $500 in cash for clothes, school supplies, whatever they needed. "This is for you," I said, kneeling in front of them. "Keep it, and if you need anything, call me, okay?" Emma nodded seriously. Noah just hugged me. I stood, looking at David and Sarah. "This is it," I said. "Don't come to me for more. I'm not your bank." David took a step toward me, furious. "You won't get away with this," he said. "This isn't over." "It's over when I say it is," I replied and walked out. The air was cold, but I felt light. I got in my truck and drove back to my city. In the rear view, I saw the house shrink, the bank sign glowing in the sun. I didn't look back. In the months that followed, I heard from a neighbor that the house was foreclosed. David and Sarah moved to a small apartment, fighting debts. They didn't contact me, and I didn't reach out. Mom rented a modest place with the money I gave her. She called once grateful, but we didn't talk much. It was better that way. Emma and Noah sent messages now and then. I sent birthday gifts, a sketchbook for Emma, a science kit for Noah. I also put money in savings accounts for them, for when they grow up, not out of guilt, but because they deserved a chance. Sometimes I think of Dad. I think he'd be proud, not for the house or the money, but because I did right by Mom and the kids without letting David and Sarah drag me down. For the first time, I felt free, and that was worth more than any mortgage.